Hello, magical family. I'm Savina. Welcome back to the Witching Hour. So, lately I've been getting asked a lot, how did I get into the wizarding world? Where did my love for Harry Potter begin? How did it all begin? So, I thought that would be a fun little video in light of this season and just holiday spirit. It felt kind of fitting. So before getting into it, don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button, and if you do, thank you. So this is a story I haven't thought about for a while, but I think it's fun to hear everybody's story, and obviously here we are over or almost 20 years later, and as you can see, the love probably got stronger as time went on. So my introduction to the wizarding world wasn't on purpose. So I am the third out of 4 kids. So I have 2 brothers and a sister. My mom actually bought Sorcerer's Stone and Chamber of Secrets for both my brother and sister. So my mom's one of those people, and education at home, reading, learning, things like that was always part of our household. So she was hearing about these books that kids seem to love, and she was hoping that my brother and sister would take to it. Now, being the third sibling, 2 older, 1 baby brother, we got into a lot of fights and arguments. We were around each other all the time, and there'd be times when I'm kind of the odd man out, or I was the odd man out. So fights with the brothers or siblings, and one day I was just really upset, and I locked myself in the room, and on the bookshelf was Sorcerer's Stone. I picked it up and I started kind of reading through it, and just kind of a disclaimer, at that time I had to be around, I want to say 8 or 9, maybe 8, that sounds about right. And I started reading it. I was not a huge fan of reading at that time, and I had to be like less than 10 pages in. I put it down and I was like, I don't like this. It's boring. I don't want to read it. I'm not going to read it. So yeah, that was funny. That was first intro to Harry Potter. So contrary to what people believe, a lot of people, it does happen. Like they pick it up, they start reading it, and that's it. They were hooked. So fast forward a little bit time, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month, but that same time frame, same kind of situation. Got an argument with my brother and my sister, locked myself in the room, needed something to do because I was always that type, and I still kind of am. Like, you just need to cool off or be away from everybody for a little bit. So there was the book again, and I looked at it and I was just like, I didn't like it. I said I wasn't going to read it. And I sat there for maybe an hour thinking about picking back up Sorcerer's Stone. Finally, I did. And I started back from the beginning and really tried to pay attention. And next thing you know, I'm reading, time's kind of flying by. I get to Diagon Alley and Hagrid, and how I believe Harry was feeling and alone and isolated. And maybe that's what did it for me. Like, I felt like kind of an instant connection with, Harry's sadness, my own at that time. So I kept reading. And then once I got to Diagon Alley and Hogwarts, I was hooked. At that point, I was hooked. And I couldn't put the book down. I stayed in the room, I want to say, for hours. And it was to the point where I wasn't angry anymore. I was just reading. And I remember just getting so lost in the book and thinking about how magical this all was and how cool it was. And I mean, being like an 8 or 9 year old kid at that time, every family or person has situations. Things are definitely different when you're younger. I just remember sitting there and thinking about how magical it would all be if this could be real. If there was some for real magical school out there and you could have magical friends and powers and a wand and an owl and go to school in this magical castle. What's more amazing than that? And I wanted so badly for it to be real. And I loved it. I went through that book fairly quickly. And I owe the Harry Potter series for my love of reading. That's where it started for me. It was the first time I realized that you could really get kind of lost or transported in a book and kind of forget about everything else around you for a little bit. I started reading in a corner all the time, taking the book with me everywhere. And when I would read, it just felt like I was in the wizarding world. And I still feel like that. And that's what I think is so magical about this series. And I think that's why so many of us have such a strong love for it. Now, as soon as I finished the first one, I picked up the second one. And for every book release, so at that point, everybody saw how hooked I was on the books. Siblings, I started getting made fun of a little bit. My other cousins and family members started calling me names and was bullying me a little bit because they thought I was nerdy or geeky, whatever. My mom, thank goodness, if you're watching this, lady, thank you. She saw how much I loved it, and I think it excited her that one of her kids at that time really was into reading, and she just saw I genuinely loved it. So she made sure every time the book came out, she got it for me. And if I haven't, I have to thank my mom, I have to thank my mom, honestly, because even when, at that time when the books were releasing, I want to say they were 50, and we've had some hard times and some hardships, but somehow she always managed to make sure that she got those books for me. And while everybody else, even my aunt and everybody saying oh, she's too into those books, that series, thankfully my mom was like, hey, so what? She kept buying me the books. She bought me this little book light because it got to the point where I just read in the corner and it'll get dark in the room and I would still be straining my eyes. So she got me one of those book lights that you clip on to the pages and it shines down on the light. And then it got to the point where I would get in trouble because I was supposed to be sleeping on school nights and it'd be 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. And I would be there with the book light reading my book because I just didn't want to put it down. And it was the best feeling ever. And it's just something magical. It's part of those really good childhood memories that I have that even thinking about it makes you light up a little bit. And that's where it all started for me. So thanks to a little fight with my siblings, a book just laying there, and that was it. The rest was history for me. The movies came out. Of course I had to see those. I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning I was disappointed by the movies, and then the more I watched them, the more they grew on me. It's just because my love for the books was so strong and so much details in the books. To this day, the books are still my favorite. But now I have a strong love for the movies as well. I still watch them all the time. They just make me feel good, they kind of transport you to a happy place, into the wizarding world, and I love that. And the fact that almost 20 years later, a book, movie could still do that for me, I have no intention of letting that go, and it feels great to have something like that. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. Do you have a similar story? I would love to talk to you guys. Comment down below. Tell me, what was your first introduction to the wizarding world? Was it similar? Was it different? I think it surprises, or it may surprise a lot of people, that in the beginning I didn't give it a chance, and I'm so happy that I gave it a second chance. Because like I said, almost 20 years later, and here I am. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear your stories. There's more to it, obviously, but that was all of it in a nutshell. And since you guys been asking, I do have some new subscribers. I do have new people on Instagram. If you're not following me, please do. With that being said, it is officially winter up here. As you can see, I have my holiday decor up. Maybe there'll be a little bit more. My schedule has been a little bit more hectic lately, but I am going to get back to cranking out videos and some fun content for you guys. I did decide to push back my giveaway till after the holidays. I'm seeing a ton of holiday giveaways right now, so I figure maybe waiting after the holidays kind of keep the magic going would kind of be nice. And I plan on doing a giveaway maybe January or February, and there will be multiple winners. As of right now, I'm thinking 3. So comment down below if you think that's exciting and you want to be part of it. On that ending note, do you have a similar experience? Do you still get transported when you read the books? Do you reread the books? Do you watch the movies over and over? Do you have a really good childhood memory when it comes to the wizarding world? Comment down below or message me. With that being said, I hope you guys are doing well, and until next time.